Good afternoon. How's everyone out there doing today? So I decided to come on because I got a pretty good question from a subscriber whose name is Coffee Cup, I believe. I should have pulled this up. Let me read the question real quick because I believe there's going to be a lot of people in this situation. So let me start with the question. It says, Markel, do you have any insight on how to keep your traditional Medicare and Medicare supplements when residing overseas? We all know that you're not covered overseas, except being one or two supplements have limited emergency reimbursement coverage while on vacation. Some of us would be happy paying the premium but not using it. If you should have to permanently return to the US 5 to 15 years down the road to do major illness due to a major illness, you will want the coverage without being penalized or losing your rights to a traditional medical supplement. Thoughts, or have your viewers ran across this? Okay, this is an excellent point right here. And here's how I would respond to this, because there's more than just veterans that watch, because I do some Social Security information. All right. So I would say this. If you are, first of all, I would say if you are a veteran, okay, even if you're not service connected, I would tell you to sign up for VA healthcare. They're going to do a means test, and depending on your income level, would decide how much you would have to pay in deductibles. All right. But as far as keeping your Medicare when living overseas, I personally cancel, I disenroll from Part B and from Part D. Part B is doctor's visits, and Part D is medication. Okay. I'm not enrolled in either one of those. I only have Part A when it comes to Medicare, and that's for hospital stays. So if you're overseas, okay, and you're still paying for Medicare, that is strictly your option to do so. I'm never going to tell somebody not to take insurance if that's what you want, okay? But for me, the way I look at it is I'm a 100% disabled veteran. And if you're 50% or higher, this would include you too. Um, if I were to return back to the States, regardless of where I go, the VA is going to pay for it. Now, I don't want people to get this misconstrued, because if you already have health insurance in the US, your health insurance is going to go before the VA. But for people like me who no longer have health insurance in the US other than VA, the VA is going to pick up my total bill. Now, I'm not telling people to go drop their insurance so the VA can cover them. I'm just explaining the situation to you. And you guys should know this every time you go check into the VA. They always ask, do you have health insurance? They're asking you that because if something happens and you have to go to a facility outside the VA, your healthcare insurance come first. So, for example, those of you who are on Medicare or Medicaid, okay, you have a service connection. You're expecting the hospital or the pharmacy or whoever it is to take care of it through the VA. No, your Medicare is going to come first. And whatever your deductible is, you're paying that first. Then whatever's left over, the VA is going to take it from there. Right? That's how that works when you have insurance. That's why they ask if you have insurance. That's basically how that works. But to answer this guy's question, I would say this, okay, for me personally, overseas, you're going to live overseas that long, like you don't plan on going back to the US anytime soon, you should look into local healthcare. If all you got is Medicare in the States and you want to continue to pay it because you may want to go back to get a procedure in the States, I totally get that. But if you're going to live overseas, right, you should look into getting local healthcare. You should look into getting good local healthcare, not just the bare requirements. The bare requirements are going to do you no good. How you doing, Mr. Steele? What up, T-Mix? Mr. B, let's see. If you cancel Part B and Part C, you'll be penalized. Yes, Yes, I'm gonna get to that, Mr. B. Yeah, if you cancel Part B and Part D, you will be penalized to rejoin, meaning you're gonna have to pay all the penalties and all the fees to rejoin Medicare if you cancel it. That's just how that works. All right. Uh, Juan, how you doing today? Okay, so just so we're clear, okay, and this is pertaining to people who live outside of the U.S. This is where this question comes from. If you're going to live outside the U.S., my suggestion to you is get good health care, not the bare minimum. The bare minimum is not going to do you any good because just like everywhere else in the world, the more you pay, the better service you get. The least you pay, the least amount of service you're going to actually get. Okay. Once again, if you are a veteran and you are not service connected, enroll in the VA healthcare system before you leave. Because let's say you're in the Philippines and you run into an issue and you got to go back to the States to get care. You can at least go to Guam or you can go to Hawaii, go to a VA facility because you're already enrolled in the VA. And again, they're going to go by means testing to determine how much you need to pay. Once you figure that part out, right, then you know what you're up against. But I'm not telling people not to keep their Medicare, right? If Medicare is all you got, you're not a veteran, you don't have VA healthcare at all, it's probably best that you keep it because at some point and you come back and say you're going to have a procedure and you want to get the procedure done in the US, yeah, you're much better off having Medicare than having nothing, right? And getting it done in the US. That's just a fact. Okay. So I know there's a lot of people out there in this situation. And the best thing I can tell you is you got to look at your overall situation and determine what's best for you. I can only explain what works best for me being here in Medellin, Colombia. Here I have their top plan. I pay about $150 a month for their top plan. So anything that happens to me, I am fully covered and I'm getting into a private room. I'm not going into the regular facility. I don't have health insurance anymore in the US because I have VA coverage in the US. Now there's FMP overseas, but again, FMP is only going to cover what you're service connected for. If you're not service connected for it, you're still coming out of pocket, period. If you're in a country that doesn't offer a third party service, you're going to have to figure out all of that. You're going to need a plan in place. You're going to need help because you get in a situation, you get knocked unconscious. Somebody's going to have to speak up for you. Somebody's going to have to help you. This is why I tell you guys a lot of times, get with locals. You know, let local people that you trust know what's going on with you. That way, if something happens, they know what your wishes are, what you would like to get done. Like, you know, you want to get stable enough and then send you back to the US, then they know what to prepare for versus you just over there, you're not talking to anybody, you just hanging around a bunch of expats and nobody knows what to do. You have seizures or you have some kind of condition that causes you to pass out or whatever. That's why when you overseas, man, you need to rely on local people or someone there that can help you in those situations versus you trying to go it alone. That's always something I recommend people do. If you have TRICARE, you must have, you must have Medicare Part B. If you're a retired veteran sent to a military, right? He's absolutely 100% correct on that. If you have TRICARE as a retiree, you have no choice. You have to keep Medicare Part B. If you want to keep your TRICARE, you have to keep Medicare Part B. You do not have the option, okay? But for all others who are not retirees, if you don't want it anymore, you can disenroll. But like he said earlier, if you disenroll and then you decide later on you want to re-enroll, you're going to have to pay that penalty to re-enroll, okay? You're going to have to pay however long you've been off, plus the penalty on top of that to re-enroll in Part B and Part D. For my, that's what I discontinued Part B and Part D, which is medical, doctor's visits and prescription drugs. I don't have either one of those. Okay. I've never gone to Social Security and used Medicare for anything. I've never called them for anything healthcare relied. I never set up an appointment healthcare wise. I never done any of that. Okay. These are all decisions, guys, you have to make when you leave the US and you're going to another country. You need to be aware of these things. Okay. Overseas is fun. It's a lot of different things you can do. Sure, it's cheaper in a lot of situations, but there's also a lot of hard decisions you have to make. You know, you get into a car accident, you unfortunately die. You didn't have no health insurance. I'm sorry, no life insurance, nothing. Now you're leaving it up to people back home to try to figure out what they're going to do or how they're going to raise the money to bury you or what they're going to do with you. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to be conscious of all these things when you're in another country. A lot of times people travel, they got very little and they're younger. And they don't think about these things, man, because anything could happen to anyone at any time. You need to be prepared for it. The last thing I'll bring up, guys, before I get off is that you all enroll for the VA for life insurance. Those of you who already don't have either SSS, damn, can't even think of it now. The ones who have not enrolled in the other insurance already with the VA, have you enrolled in VA life insurance, right? Have you already set that up? Have you already got that done? In case you didn't catch it on the last live I did about the insurance, if you are overseas, they will cover you. I repeat that. If you are overseas, they will cover you with the life insurance. Okay? They will cover you. You have to start paying. Once you pay into it for 2 years, you're now invested in it and you don't have to worry about it. There's no questionnaires. There's no nothing, but you have to pay in it first for 2 straight years. The older you are, the more you pay. Markel, I will hit you up. Have all these medical appointments. I hope you understand. It's all good, Mr. B. Let's see. If you don't have B and D, you still have C that gets deducted from SSDI. No. Okay. The only one I have is Part A, which is free. That's hospital stays. It's free for some. Everybody doesn't get that. I don't know why, but some people like myself, Part A is included. Part A and D, I opt out of. That's what they charge me for. Now, Part C, I can't remember what Part C is, but I don't remember what Part C is. I had to Google it. I don't remember what it is, but I know I'm out of A and D. Because if you go to my Social Security account, for those of you that have a my Social Security account, it gives you all your information and what you enrolled in, and if you opted out, what you opted out of. Okay. I opted out of paying, I think I was paying like $180 something, and this was maybe 6 years ago. I'm pretty sure my payment would have been close to $300 by now per month. Yeah, because that was 6 years ago. So it all depends, right? Like these payment amounts depends on how much you're receiving from Social Security. The more you receive, the more they take out. So if you getting like $2,500 to $3,000 a month from Social Security, I'm sure they're hitting you for at least $350 a month, $300 to $350, just to cover you for Medicare. If you're getting like $1,200 to $1,500, you may be paying like $140, $150, something like that. So it all depends on how much you're getting. Now, guys, I also put in the comment section, in the community page, for those of you who are looking at retirement. You may be in your 30s, you may be in your 40s, and you're curious to know what Social Security will pay you based upon how much you actually make. In the community page, I put a calculator there from AARP where you can put in how much you make annually on average, right? And it'll show you, give you a good estimate of where you would be 20 years from now. The key thing to keep in mind, okay, because people are going to look at that and go, okay, well, I'll get about $2,000. $2,000 right now is okay. 20 years from now, $2,000 is probably going to be nothing. Just like people in the 70s who were getting $200 to $300 a month were like, okay, this is okay. Fast forward 40, 50 years later, people are now getting 2,000 when they were getting 300. You understand what I'm saying? So don't look at that number now and go, okay, I should be fine. No, $2,000 in 20 years is probably going to be nothing. No problem. My SSDI rep is located at the embassy in the DR. In the DR? How they send you to the DR? They didn't send you to Colombia in the DR. That's weird. The community page. Yeah, if you go to my main page, right, you just go to Markel's TV and then you go to the tab that says community page. Right there on the community page, you go to there. The last link I put up, it shows AARP. Let me show you real quick. Good afternoon. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, if you go to my channel, which is, damn it, you can't even see it. Okay, if you go to my page, which is looks like this, okay, this is my home page to this channel. If you go to where it says community, see that right there? It says community. You click on to community. This is what I've just put out. This is a calculator to show you for retirement how much you should get for those of you. There's a link right there you can go to AARP's website. Well, it takes you here and you can put in your info, how old you are, how much you make annually, and it'll give you a pretty good estimate of where you're going to be by the time you hit early retirement age and by the time you hit full retirement age. All right. And that's for all you people who are like curious, okay, where am I going to be retirement? How much am I going to make during retirement? This gives you the best way to try to figure it out. Now, Social Security also sends out those estimates. Again, guys, I need y'all to think. It's 2023. You're not going to retire for another 20, 30 years. What you're looking at now is not what it's going to be in 20, 30 years from now. As you see with these cost of living raises that we get, people are getting more. People are making more. So if you're only getting $1,500 30 years from now, you ain't getting nothing. It's like somebody getting a couple $100 for the Social Security. You're not getting anything. Let's see. I got married over a year ago. I have to pay taxes on my SSDI because now my home income has increased. Learn something new, but still blessed. Because of your wife, your income has increased, and you're saying because of that, because you got married? I'm trying to think how that works. I don't even remember how it works. I'm not even married anymore, but I know for me, because of how much I get from Social Security, I have to pay taxes on my income. It sucks, but when you reach a certain threshold with Social Security, you still paying taxes. You ain't free from it. You guys who are not paying any taxes, you're free from it. But once you reach a certain level with Social Security, you got to still pay taxes. Yeah, that don't make sense to me. They sending you to the DR, and there's an embassy right there in Bogota. Well, whatever, man. I don't know what the government's doing. I don't know what they're doing. Let's see. A lot of business contracts to other countries, cheap labor, but that's interesting. SSI is doing it now too. But to the DR, man, that'd be like the last place I would want to set up a damn contract. Not trying to say anything bad about it, but bro, the DR, come on, man. That would not be my first choice. You always have to pay taxes. No, there are people, Mr. B, that pay no taxes. They're not paying. They don't make enough with Social Security to pay taxes, and the only other income they got is VA. They don't pay any taxes on their VA money. So there are some people who pay zero that file nothing every year because they don't have any tax liability. None. Yes, because I got married, they included her income. Oh, okay. Got you, Warren. Yeah. Hey, but like you said, it's more income in the house, even though they taxing you, you still got more income in the house. I'm sure what you're getting with her income is still far better, even though they taxing you on it. T makes yeah, on SSDI, Mr. B, it's only if you reach a certain amount, right? You got to make as a single individual, I think it's more than 28,000 a year or 29,000 a year. You have to pay taxes on that. But for everybody else who below it, because the average person on Social Security only gets like $1,600 a month, right? No. Is it 15? I think it's like 15. But people on the higher end, y'all probably don't know this. There's people out there getting $4,500 a month from Social Security alone. 45 or 46 is the max, somewhere in there, 45 or 46 just from Social Security. But you had to have made, 6 figures plus for 30 something years. That's how you get up to that level. But most people are not going to be there. Most people 15, 18, 22, 25, somewhere in there. What's up, Howard? How you doing? But yeah, Mr. B, there are people out there on SSDI, on VA, and on retirement from the military, and they got the exemption. They're paying zero in federal taxes, not one dime. There's people out there getting 12, 15,000 a month, paying zero in taxes, not a dime. Straight up. Because you think about it, man, if like with the VA, if you 100%, and let's say you're in the SMC category, we're not going to even go all the way to the top of the SMC category. Let's say you're getting SMC N, right? N's going to pay that individual close to $7,300, $7,400 a month. Then you say they're getting $2,000 a month in Social Security. You're at $9,200 already a month. And let's say they're a retiree, they're getting another $18,000 to $2,000 on top of that. You're at about $11,200 to $11,500 a month, and they paying zero on taxes, not one dime. There are some people, believe it or not, and this is real talk, there are some people who are disabled veterans making more money now than they ever did when they were in the military or when they had a regular job. That's how crazy that is. They're making far more money than they ever did in the military or working. Because a lot of people do, depending on their disability and what they're getting from Social Security, they up there. They up there. They could easily do anything and everything that they want. They are up there easily and not paying a dime in taxes. Now, let me refer to this real quick again, because people are asking about taxes here in Colombia. And I've answered this before. If you don't own anything here, you have no tax liability. You don't have a bunch of money on a bank account here, you have no tax liability. You still file, but you really ain't gonna owe nothing because you don't have anything. You don't own any property. You don't own a car. You don't have a bunch of money in the bank. You have no tax liability, period. It's just that simple. You're still supposed to file, but you're not going to owe anything because you're not paying any taxes in the U.S. Your taxes are really based off what you pay in the U.S. You don't have no tax liability in the U.S. You have no tax liability here. What the hell are you going to pay? Nothing. Now, there probably going to come a time, though, when they're going to want to tax Social Security and VA because we have no agreements here. All right. Now, for Blank Slate, I'm going to tell you the one thing that's going to come, though, that's going to screw up a lot of people. And they haven't made it a law yet. And that's paying into the pension here in Colombia. When you get insurance here, I keep getting these letters from Sure, these emails from Sure that says you should pay into the pension here. Well, I'm never going to receive a pension, so I have no reason to pay into it. But either next year or the following year, either 24 or 25, they're going to make everybody, kind of like the U.S. does with people who work in the U.S. and they never going to receive Social Security. They paying taxes for stuff they never going to receive. They get Social Security taken out, They get state income taxes taken out, and they get federal income taxes taken out in the U.S. They never gonna get that money. They never gonna see that money, right? They're gonna start doing the same thing here, either next year or the following year. They're gonna make everybody pay into their pension system, which you're gonna be here. I don't mind, whatever. It's only like if I had started paying into it now, it'd be like $12 or $15, something like that a month is what I would be charged to pay into their pension system. But I'm never gonna get a dime of it because you got to pay into it. Well, first of all, you got to be a citizen, and then you got to pay into it. I think it's for 30 or 35 years, and you end up getting like the equivalent of minimum wage or a little less than minimum wage a month. So you're only talking like getting maybe $150 to $160 a month for a pension. But I'm never gonna see it. But that's coming. That's coming. That's another one that's coming. Paying into that pension, which is going to drive up your insurance, and it's going to go up every year. I went from, I was saying 150. No, it went to, I think I pay like 185 now a month because of the increase. Because I'm on their top plan. So that's just so you guys know. These are bills that you don't think about, that you don't really prepare for. Just like with mail. You don't really prepare. You get a bunch of mail coming in, you may get 30 or 40 letters. In the US, it's free to just regular mail. Here, you got to pay for that if you're using the service. And that's going to cost you about $50 to $60 to get your mail. A lot of people ain't expecting that, but that's what it costs. All right, guys. Are there any other questions? Because I actually have Social Security on hold. I got to figure some stuff out with them because my account ended up getting suspended. Luckily, I got a bunch of income streams, so I don't normally spend my Social Security check anyway, but they suspended mine. I ended up Saturday morning having to go to, who did I send it through? UPS. Yeah, I went through UPS. It cost me $35 to send those two forms next day, and they're supposed to get it on Wednesday. So I'm calling to find out how much longer it's going to take after that. So if I need to pull money out of other accounts just in case something goes wrong, I got my Capital One accounts and my Charles Schwab accounts. So I'm good. But for those people who only income is Social Security, they are screwed. Because it's going to be at least 30 to 90 days for them to get it, process it, and then turn it back on. So if you're in another country and you relied on Social Security and they suspended it, I don't know what to tell y'all, bro. I don't know what to tell those people because it's not, and again, I keep telling people this, it's not like they got like emergency services for you at the embassy or at these different countries because they don't have them for their own citizens. So they ain't gonna have it for you. So when your money gets cut off, and I've said this continues, when your money get cut off, now what you gonna do if you got no savings, you got no credit card, you got nothing? What the hell you gonna do? Well, we about to find out because there's people out there that are screwed this morning. That's finding this out. No problem. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this podcast, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching as always. Any other questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'll try to get to them. If I don't answer them in the comment section, I'll try to do a video like this to answer your question. All right, guys. But that's it for now. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching as always. And until the next time, guys, I'm out of here. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your day.